Hey there, it's Amelia bringing you another Microsoft Word video. In this video, we'll review how to preview and print a document using Microsoft Word 2016. So let's get started. Let's review how to preview a document before you print. I'm going to go ahead and click File, and when I do, you're going to notice that in Microsoft Word 2016, you no longer see File at the top of the File menu. So next I'm going to click Print, and when I do so, you're going to see the document preview on the right and the print options on the left here. And then the preview on the bottom, you can advance to different pages. Now this is a 4-page document, so right now the zoom is set for 1 page, and I can scroll through and preview each of the pages. On the right, I can adjust the zoom control and hit the minus sign or the plus sign to go up and down. Now if I make it a little bit smaller, I can see all 4 pages at once, and what I like about that is even though the print is a little small to read, I can look it over and make sure everything's consistent with regards to footers, headers, and other features across the different pages. So to return back to a 1-page preview, I'm going to use the zoom and slide this little bar over to about 66%. And that will give us our 1-page preview back. So let's review the print options on the left side of the screen. If you liked the preview and everything's ready to print, you can go ahead and click the print, this large print button here on the left. But let's say in this example, we want to go through the print options to make some adjustments or just review the current settings. So the default number of copies is always set to 1, and you can change that as needed. The printer that you see listed here is my default printer. It's an Epson, and the status is ready. And as you can see, when I hover over the printer, it shows me the printer status and the type of printer. There's a little eye up here, and that would show us the same information, the printer status and the type of printer. I can also access printer properties by clicking here on printer properties, and again, this is going to vary on the depending on the type of printer you have. You can get a general idea that the printer properties will allow you to change the quality, paper options, ink levels, and so forth. And what I like is to save ink. If I just want a quick draft print, I'll just change it to draft and save some ink. And I can, most printers have the option of changing to black and white. So if I wanted to, in my case, I can click black, grayscale, and so on and so forth. And again, these tabs here the settings will vary depending on your printer. So I'm just going to cancel out for now. And in addition, there's various settings here. It's set to print all pages unless you make a change. So in the pull down menu here, you could see that instead of printing all pages, you have the option of printing the current page. Custom print. In this case, I want to show you the way to print selective pages. So what I want to do is a custom print. So I can click here, and it's going to bring the cursor to the pages field, and it tells you in the little tooltip here that you can type the page numbers and or ranges separated by commas or dash. So example, if I wanted to print pages 1 to 3, I can type 1-3, or for instance, if I wanted to only print page 2 and 4, I can use a comma and enter 2, 4, for example. And below that, we have the default that it's going to print one-sided, and again, depending on your printer. And if in my case, if I wanted to print double-sided, I could choose manually print on both sides, and I would have to reload the paper in my case, to print a second side. You also have the option of selecting collated or uncollated, portrait orientation, or landscape. However, if you change the orientation, myself, I'd rather go in the actual document window and experiment there, which I want to show you in a minute how to get to a lot of these same options while you're in your document window, which will give you a lot more flexibility than making the adjustments in the print preview screen. So I'll go into page setup in a moment. And also here is the paper size, which will default to 8.5 by 11 letter. And of course you can change the size, and again this will vary depending on your printer. Margins. Okay, so this is one setting here that you could change on the fly and see the effect right in the preview on the right side of the screen. So for example, if I made a change, and I'm going to purposely make a drastic change so you could see the effect. So let's say I wanted to go with narrow, and that didn't make too much of a change but made somewhat of a change here, and now you can see that my title, which was on the side here, is cut off. So maybe now I want to go wide, and then you can see that the change is right here. And say you made a couple changes and you just don't like it and you want to go back to the way it was, but no matter how hard you tried, you click here and maybe you click on custom and it just doesn't look the same anymore. So if that happens, and I know it happens to me a lot, I make a lot of changes and then I decide, you know what, I want to go back to where I was about 2 minutes ago. So in that case, let me show you how to do that. What you would do is, let's click this left arrow to go back to the document screen, and as you can see, it's, you know, the effect is still shown here. So just go ahead and click the Control Z undo command, which is, you know, one of my favorite friends. I just love Control Z. So now it looks just about how it looked when I started, and that's perfect. So now I want to go back into print preview, click File again, and click Print, and just finish up in here. So at the bottom here, the last item here is the pages per sheet, and I do want 1 page per sheet, but if you wanted to, you can switch, and depending on your printer and the options, you could change it to say 2 pages per sheet, but I'm going to change that back to 1 page per sheet. And finally, down here you have the option of accessing the page setup. I'm going to go ahead and click on there and show you that it does display the page setup dialog box, and this is the same page setup dialog box that you would normally access in your document window, which I'm going to return to in a moment just to show you. So in your page setup dialog box, you have more margin settings, paper size, and layout. So let me just cancel here for just a moment and show you, if we return back to our document window, that same page setup dialog box is accessible in your ribbon bar under layout in the page setup group. You click on this really small little diagonal arrow here, and if you click there, it displays the same page setup dialog box. So I know myself, if I'm experimenting with the orientation, which is in the margins tab here, I like to be in the document window, and because I may still be making changes. So if I change to landscape and click OK, I could see it here, and then maybe I want to jump right into preview in here, click File, Print, and now I could see the whole page. I could have also done that from my document window. If I return back to my document window, remember that same zoom control is on the bottom right of your document screen. So you could preview it this way, but you know, you do have the option of previewing it in the print preview. So maybe I just don't like it like that. So I want to hit my trusty Control Z and return back to my original orientation of portrait. And now when I click File, Print, it will show back into the portrait orientation, and I'm ready to print. So that's all there is to it, to previewing and printing in Microsoft Word 2016, and that's it for today's video. If you found this video helpful, please leave a comment below. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.